Hello guys, we're back today on Alpha Minecraft. I turn up the volume a bit just because it will be nice to have a little bit of music in the background sometimes. Um, Now there was a mod that lets you have like isometric screenshots and stuff like that in Alpha, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to work. Um, I tried to load it in like multi-MC. I tried the Betacraft launcher, and I still have no idea how to get it to work. It's really, I don't know. It's kind of confusing. Um, but there's nothing I can really do about it, I guess. I tried asking the mod creator about it. I told him that it wasn't working for me, but he hasn't responded to me yet. So. But I think I'd really like to get some isometric screenshots in this because I think that would look nice. Like if I ever plan on building something nice, and that's the other thing about this. I if you guys keep watching these videos, if you keep watching me play Alpha, then I'll probably keep on making videos about Alpha Minecraft. If you guys um don't like me watching Alpha Minecraft, if I start to get like less and less views, I might still make videos on Alpha Minecraft, just not as much. Like, see, the thing is about this channel is like, I I do and I don't really care about it. Like, it's more of like a side thing that I'm doing. Like, it's not I'm not trying to make money off of it right now. That could change. I don't know. But as of right now, that's not realistic because I don't have there's not enough people watching my videos. So there's no way I can actually make any money off of this channel, and there's just no reason for me to do that. So for now, this channel is basically just a hobby. And if I do try to make money off of some of these videos, I might end up just making a new channel and then start uploading there and then I'm just gonna tell you guys to like migrate over there because I just think it would be better if I did it that way so then YouTube can look at that and be like, "Oh, hey, this is a different channel." And because like YouTube's algorithm is a little bit tricky. Um you because with my channel is a little bit weird. Like I play all sorts of different games. Like I play Hearthstone 4, I play Minecraft and Roblox. Like those are like the three different games that I play on this channel. So YouTube is probably gonna look at that and be not have any idea what to do with that. They're gonna be like, is this guy a Minecraft gamer? Does he play Hearthstone 4? Or does he play Roblox? Like I don't know if YouTube's algorithm is gonna understand like what is going on with that. I might have to break some of these tree leaves because leaf decay in this version was really weird and kind of buggy. Um, Notch didn't really he didn't have leaf decay figured out for a while. From what it sounds like, he actually struggled with it a lot. So thank God we have leaf decay now. But today I wanted to talk about something I think is really interesting, even if it doesn't have like any real like any real world value or anything that is actually helpful. But um, today I wanted to talk about like some like World War II superstition and like Cold War superstition stuff like that because I just find it really interesting. Like I don't know if you guys knew this, but like back in World War II, the Germans, let's call them, even though I know what they really are, but I'm just gonna call them the Germans. the Germans, they had like all sorts of like really weird programs, like, you know, they had the program where, because if you didn't know this, they had this belief that there was like this mystical land that, and that's where like all of their and they believe that that's where all their, I'm sorry, the door opening in this game is really strange. But anyways, they believe that like that's where like all their ancestors came from, because they're the superior people and whatever. And I'm not, I swear to God, if YouTube tries to take this video down because it thinks I'm advocating for that, I am not advocating for that. I obviously think that's below. Hold on, let me turn the fucking music down. Music's a little loud. But yeah, because YouTube did take down one of my videos because it thought I was promoting hate speech, and that's very unfortunate, YouTube. I don't know why you think I'm promoting hate speech. I mean, to be fair, it was like a song, but it was supposed to be a stupid meme, but YouTube saw it and they're like, "Nah, you're promoting hate speech, buddy," and they took down my video. I thought YouTube was like, didn't care about that stuff, and all YouTube needs to like fucking micromanage every single fucking video that you put out on the internet. It's so bullshit. But anyways, rant about YouTube aside, yeah, so the Germans, almost said Nazis, but whatever, I can say it if I want. YouTube, I don't care what you think of me, but the Nazis, they had like, you know, they had all sorts of weird programs, like, I don't know if you guys know about the Wunderwaffen. The Wunderwaffen was like, it's very strange. It was like, it wasn't really gonna get anywhere. Dude, I go through stone axes so fast. See, that's the thing about this version, guys. Like, durability of tools in this game just sucks ass. It is so bad. I just crafted a stone axe and I already went through it. But anyways, yeah, they had like all sorts of strange programs and stuff, like the Wunderwaffen. The Wunderwaffen is like, that means wonder weapon, and it's basically like this program where they made like they were trying to make these like crazy like sci-fi weapons and like UFOs and shit and like jet planes and just all sorts of advanced stuff, like, and you know, people would probably like to think that, oh, if they just researched more into the wonder weapons, then the Germans would have won World War II. Well, I don't know about that, man. Like, some of the stuff they were doing was a little bit unhinged, I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. I really need to get a tree farm, guys. This tree is like, I'm gonna have to break all these leaves because this stupid tree is like annoying me. But yeah, if you it's very interesting because the Germans, they believe, it's a long story, but basically they believed that there was this place, like this mystical land, and that's where like all the superior people came from and whatever. And that was Agartha, and Agartha is actually it was this really weird like place. I think it was a French guy back in like the 1880s or something. I don't remember when, but it was like this French guy. He wrote a book about Agartha. I don't know what was going through his fucking head at the time, but it's pretty goddamn interesting that like people all the way back in 1880, like, it really feels like, you know, ever since the Industrial Revolution was a thing, people have started to like come up with these crazy like machine ideas and stuff like that. Like, God, what's his name? H.G. Wells. He was around back in like the 1890s and shit, and he was British, I'm pretty sure. and he wrote the book The War of the Worlds. He's the one that came up with that. And he also wrote a bunch of other books. He wrote books about traveling through time because, at the time, it's probably because, I don't know for sure, but Albert Einstein, he was coming up with theories about holy sound glitch. Anyways, uh yeah, but Albert Einstein, he was coming up with theories about like, you know, relativity, and if you have any idea what relativity is, the best way I can really explain it, I'm not a scientist or an expert on it, but the best way I can explain it is that there's a fourth dimension. Like, there's three dimensions, right? But there's a fourth dimension, and that's time and space. That's basically how I can explain what relativity is. And that's why people were like, like people like H.G. Wells were like, you know what? I'm gonna write a book about traveling through time and space. This guy makes this like crazy time machine, and it's obviously science fiction, but it's still really fascinating that people all the way back then were coming up with ideas like this. It's just so cool. But anyways, yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and back to the thing about Agartha. Um, I remember hearing that there was actually like a U.S. soldier, because the Nazis, they were all over the world. They're going to like Tibet, which is in China, if you don't know where that is. Um, they're going to like Antarctica. They were like all over the place because they were trying to find Agartha. Like, this was a real thing that they were trying to do. It was like an actual program that they were trying to like do, but obviously they never found it, even though they invested a lot of time, money, and resources into it, which is kind of crazy to think about because they basically went on this giant wild goose chase for like nothing. It's kind of interesting. It's like, you know, conspiracy theorists don't like you don't see conspiracy theorists put this much effort into like, you know, proving themselves or whatever, but it's just crazy. Um, but back to the thing about Agartha, I was gonna make a point that the person who wrote that book, he said that like the people that lived in Agartha is basically it's this like it's this kingdom, this fictional kingdom in the Hollow Earth, but people thought it was real. So, that didn't stop people from thinking that Agartha was real, that it was like actually inside the Hollow Earth, that you could find like this mystical place with like these higher beings in it and yada yada yada. But the Nazis, they believed like, that they belonged there because they thought they were like super cool and whatever, but Agartha obviously doesn't exist. So, but the thing is I remember that they said that he thought these people there that lived in Agartha were he said they I don't know if I'm remembering this right, but they basically said that everything was made out of like this energy, and it was called vril energy. Like, even the people there were like made out of vril energy or something like that. And the vril energy would have like these like weird properties that would make you do like all sorts of crazy shit. And um I think I don't know, it's just interesting to think about that the Nazis could have like, because when you see stuff about like UFO conspiracy theories and stuff like that, a lot of the time, like, it's stuff that goes back to like World War II, because there was a lot of that stuff going on. Like, there's all sorts of weird shit going on in World War II. And I remember there was an American soldier that was sent to like they were gonna go like raid the Nazi base in Antarctica because they had a base in Antarctica, so they were gonna go like attack it or whatever. But I remember there was like this American soldier that was there, and I guess he found something or something happened, and all of a sudden the U.S. government was like, "Yeah, here's a bunch of medals, and you're retired now, and goodbye." And that was it. And I was like, I don't know, that was kind of suspicious because like, why would you just do that randomly? You know, just some random guy. I don't know. I just think it's interesting to think about like what the possibilities could have been because people probably obviously thought, oh, this guy found Agartha and blah blah blah, but there could be all sorts of others like possibilities to the whole thing. It's like I don't know if you guys ever heard of oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now. So there's this conspiracy theory. This is probably one of my favorite conspiracy theories, and I don't completely believe it to be true, but um I don't know. I think it could be partially true. I don't know. I don't have like I just feel like there's not a lot of evidence to, support the claims, but um because it's just like one guy that said it was true or like a couple dudes like okay then whatever. But anyways, um there's this conspiracy theory. There's this time where President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and this was back in the Cold War, so like superstition was at an all-time high basically. Dwight D. Eisenhower, he was like he had I don't remember what it was. He had like some random like dentist appointment or some shit like that all of a sudden like he just randomly disappeared from everybody for a moment and he came back and there was someone that was with him there. There's a bunch of people that were with him there that they claimed to be with him there. And I don't remember the full story, but they said that Dwight D. Eisenhower was like making a deal with aliens or some crazy shit like that. That like he was making a deal with them that um you know you can't have Earth, but or I don't fucking remember what I don't remember what it was, what the deal was, but it was like some kind of deal where the aliens were giving Dwight D. Eisenhower like technology or some shit like that. It was something crazy like that. I don't remember, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories about it, so I honestly don't I don't remember what it was actually about, but it was something along the lines of that, like potentially getting this like crazy technology from aliens, which I thought is just I don't know, I just thought that's super interesting. It's very quiet. I'm kind of tempted to go out there. Look, it's almost completely decayed. Do you think I should? Well, let's see how much coal I have. I don't have any coal. Great. Fuck. Uh, Here, let's make a bunch of wood. And I have a charcoal mod. So I should just be able to, like, get some charcoal. Because you can't get charcoal in this version, but if you do have this mod, then you can, obviously. I wonder if this is, like, does this count as, okay, it does count as the same. That's interesting. So it's just coal, basically. Like, it's just coal, which is really nice. But yeah, back to my rant about, like, aliens and whatever nonsense. I don't know. I just think it's a very interesting topic to me because there's a lot of things that happened in World War II. Like there was a lot of like top secret things that happened, and there was like this one whistleblower that was like, oh yeah, back in World War II, in Italy there was like a UFO that crash landed, and this guy was like a high ranking government official or some shit like that, and You know, I don't know if that could be true. Maybe he's just doing it to get attention. I have no idea. Like, you never know. Because a lot of times with conspiracy theories, it's only like one or two guys, or not two, but like just like a group of people that claim that it's true, and that's all the evidence you have. And it's really hard to base anything off of that, right? Because that's the only evidence. There's no like physical evidence. I mean, sometimes they'll have like videos and stuff, but you know, most of the most of the videos you see about like UFOs and shit and Bigfoot, they're very blurry and they're very hard to see. He's like, what is he doing? He's looking down. What are you looking down at? Okay, I don't know. But yeah, I personally think all that stuff is interesting, but I don't know, guys. You can believe in whatever you want, I think. As long as it doesn't harm anybody, you know. Uh, okay. Let's put this egg in here. Let's make some sticks. Thank God I can split stuff in half. I don't know if you guys notice this either, but I am actually I have to drag everything. Like I have to do that. I'm kind of forced to do it because that's just how alpha is. Like you have to drag everything. You can't shift click in this version, which I do forget that sometimes, but let's bring some steak with us just in case because I am gonna go into the caves. We're gonna go caving for a little bit just because I think that'd be fun. Um, Actually, let's make a couple of stone pickaxes, because stone pickaxes, they do not last that long, guys. I got 41 saplings? Jesus, okay. That is a lot of saplings, guys. But yeah, you guys seem to really like this alpha Minecraft stuff. So, like, if you want to see me, you know, keep making videos about that, that's fine with me, I guess. As long as you guys are okay with it. Man, it is gonna be a pain in my butt to, like, mass produce anything in this. Because look how long it's taking me to... Like, I can't shift click. I have to do this. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to get used to this. It's a little bit janky, but... It's just, you know, whatever. Anyways, let's go caving somewhere. I don't know where, but we'll find a random cave somewhere. I'm thinking we might set up base in one of these mountains, maybe. We could do that. Because it would just be easier if we did it that way. You know? But I'm not totally sure yet. I'm also just thinking about, like, making a big base out of, like, cobblestone and stone, maybe. I might just do that instead, honestly. I'm not sure, though. And if you guys are wondering, I haven't played on this world ever since the last time. So, let's go ahead and just do that. There we go. But yeah, in this version, the durability of tools is, like, significantly reduced. So, well, I'm gonna try to conserve as much, like, iron and diamonds as I can. And hopefully that'll work out. The diamonds, I don't know if I'd ever use them, actually, because diamonds are a little bit tricky to get. There's a strange, like, there's this strange like bug or like weird ore distribution, I guess you could call it. I don't know if it's really a bug, but in this version, it was a little bit trickier to find diamonds because all the diamonds were on positive coordinates, like, or not all of them, but most of the diamonds, they're on positive coordinates, but, you know, the thing is about alpha is that alpha doesn't have coordinates, so you have to, like, base the coordinates off of, like, basically, like, the direction of the sun and your spawn point. So, and there's a diagram that someone made on Reddit that I can just follow, but I'm not gonna use it right now because I'm just focused on getting this stuff. I know this isn't a cave, but like there's coal here. I need to get this coal, dude. Also, I kind of wish there was a way. Actually, nah, it's fine. I was gonna say I wish there was a way of like knowing what time it is of the day, since this, you know, this version is so like slow paced. You probably want to make sure it's not, you know, about to be nighttime or anything like that, because that would suck. You know what? I got an idea now. I might make like a UFO or something in this version, some kind of thing. Because, you know, like I said, there's like all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Like, I watched this video where apparently the Germans had like this fucking anti-gravity technology or some crazy shit like that. I don't know how true that is, or if it's just the conspiracy theory that they did have anti-gravity technology. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know, I think it's interesting to think about that. It could be possible, like, you know, could have the American, like, if you think about it, they lost the war, right? And we hired a lot of scientists from Germany, um, which was kind of messed up because a lot of those like scientists and stuff were, you know, they did some really messed up things, and we were just like, yeah, you're excused for that as long as you work for NASA. Like, that's, yeah, pretty fucked up. But anyways, we probably like, you know, if you think about it, we probably discovered a lot of like crazy technology and shit. We probably discovered like, because the Germans came up with jets first, and I don't know if you knew that, but they were the ones that came up with the jet, and you know, and I don't know if we had our own jet program, but we probably like, you know, found out a lot of stuff by hiring Nazi scientists and stuff like that. So it's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing at the same time. Like, obviously it's a bad thing because you're forgiving people who did like really bad war crimes, but in exchange you're getting like this crazy technology. So I mean, I don't know, man, like it's just these it's just like the sacrifices that you make for human progress. It can be very like morally, I don't know what the word is. I don't know what the word is. It's a very difficult like moral problem, you know? It's like, okay, do we either forgive this guy for doing horrible things in a war where millions of people died and they killed millions of people because of their ideology, and or we we can forgive them and uh, let them off the hook and get this crazy ass technology, like, and keep advancing as a society, and then all of a sudden, you know, now all of a sudden the Soviets are becoming a big thing, or they're becoming a big threat, and it's like, oh shit, what do we do? We gotta show the Soviets who's boss. We gotta make sure they don't start getting any funny ideas. So, and then they start, they start ramping up and shit, and they start making a bunch of nukes because they don't they don't want the Soviets to get too powerful. They want, we wanted to be the only superpower on Earth, but that wasn't gonna happen. It was like it was constant back and forth. Like it was already too late. Like the Soviets were nothing was gonna stop them basically. The only thing that really stopped the Soviets is I would have to say is their ideology, but I don't know. I'm not an expert on the fall of the USSR, but people, this it's like it's also this like their type of like specific kind of government, their Soviet like government. It probably wasn't the best, It was very authoritarian and um, people probably, didn't like that. So then they had like a bunch of revolutions in the Balkans and stuff like that, and all sorts of other places in Eastern Europe. And then the Soviets, they just couldn't handle it anymore. But yeah, it's just interesting to think about that. Like all of this is happening at the same time in history. But nowadays, it's like I don't want to get too much into modern politics, but nowadays it's like I mean, there's still communist governments in the world, but there's very few. Like there's a lot fewer than there was, it seems like. China right now, I mean, I don't know if you want to say they're very I don't know if I'd say they're very successful. I mean, a lot of people argue they are very successful, and a lot of people argue that they aren't very successful. That's not for me to like decide. Personally, I don't know. I think they're pretty successful for what they have right now. I mean, I think that ever since, they became communists and all that, like, they have made a lot of accomplishments. And I'm not saying, like, that doesn't mean that communism is good. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying, like, ever since they started industrializing like crazy, they made a lot of progress, but at the same time, like, a lot of the stuff they make is very cheap and all that, and there's all sorts of different sides. There's all sorts of different like factors to consider. Like it's not black and white. It's not like that simple, But a lot of people like to think that it is very simple, which I don't agree with. Things in life are not, always simple. It's a lot of things in life are very complicated, and you grow up to learn that. So, but yeah, I don't want to get too political. Because I'm not a very political channel, and I don't want to like, I don't, you guys don't have to hear my political ideals and whatever nonsense. I'm not gonna shove them down your throat. Like, you guys can believe in whatever you want. I don't care. People should be allowed to believe in whatever they want. That's what I think. Like, but but at the same time, there's a lot of people nowadays that believe like, oh, yeah, you can believe in whatever you want, but if you believe in this ideology, then that means that you actually think that everybody should think how you should think, and if you don't, then we have to kill you and all this other stuff. And you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I don't know, dude. Like it's very hard nowadays because people don't think that it's like people think it's politics are so simple nowadays when it's really not. You know, like politics is not black and white. There's all sorts of like things going on that we don't know about, and just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that they're an extremist of any kind. And this goes for any side of the political aisle. Like this goes for people on the left and people on the right. It goes for both. Like just because someone doesn't agree with you doesn't mean that they're an extremist or anything. Like just because you're on the left and someone's on the right, that doesn't mean like they're an extremist. Or just because you're on the right and someone's on the left doesn't mean that they're an extremist. Like it doesn't work that way. Like but people just don't a lot of people just don't seem to understand that, you know, it's really hard nowadays because just keeps on getting worse and worse. But I don't know. That's my take on politics for now. That's about all the political ramblings you'll ever get out of me. I'm not gonna tell you if I'm left or right. I'm just gonna tell you that. So, but yeah, obviously nowadays a lot of things are very messed up. Um, and that's kind of just the unfortunate reality. I'm really tempted to just like start spamming torches everywhere. Um, oh, bless me. Jesus. Ah, sorry about that. I sneezed a lot. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, oh, God. Okay. You know what, guys? If you really think about it, a mountain base would be pretty nice because you could just stay inside the mountain and keep mining like all night and all day. Like you can just mine all night and all day, and that would be super cool, I think. Um, there's not a lot of mobs spawning outside right now, surprisingly. Like I'm not seeing like any mobs out here. I see that one zombie. So I'm just gonna take a risk here. And we're gonna go down here. And we're gonna go check out what's going on. I remember I watch a lot of Minecraft world tours because I just think they're cool to like see how much people can do in a certain amount of time, like a year or like a couple or like 5 years or like however long, because it's just interesting to look at like how much progress people put into these Minecraft worlds. But anyways, I saw this one guy. It was this alpha world, like this version of alpha, and his base was like super cool, dude. And he had this really cool like wood farm, boat farm kind of thing going on. And basically how it would work is you would like there's this weird bug. So like boats were super glitchy back then, and they would break a lot. Like they would break super easily. They sucked. They were really bad. But you could like if you there's ways to use them efficiently though. Like I know there's this there's like a because like minecarts didn't have powered rails back then, so you'd have to use like a minecart booster, and a minecart booster is basically another minecart going into that minecart, and for some strange reason, if you pushed a minecart into another minecart, they would just both like keep going. It was really strange how that worked. Um, that's the beauty of this version. But anyways, it was this really weird like bug, and how it worked is you would fill your inventory with everything, and you would leave one slot open, and you'd craft a shit ton of boats, and then you just like leave the boats on the floor. And then what you would do is you would like I don't remember exactly how it worked, but you would like start placing boats above you, and there would be like water and like a cactus or some shit like that, so the boats would just keep breaking. But there's like some glitch that would infinitely break the boats, or not infinitely break, but like it would like duplicate the wood somehow, even more than like what you would normally get from a boat, I think. I don't know, I could be remembering that wrong. But because of that, you could basically you could basically duplicate wood, and to me that is just absolutely insane that you can do that in this version. Like, it is so insanely easy to do stuff like that. I don't know, what do you guys think about this area here? Does this look cool to you? We could have like a base inside here. Maybe we could have like a bridge going from here over here, maybe? I don't know. I don't know, what do you guys think? I might end up doing that, it depends. Since it is gonna be Christmas soon, I might make a video on beta, on my beta world, about making a Christmas tree or something like that, just because it is gonna be Christmas soon. So and I'm not finished with my house yet in that version of Minecraft. And if anyone watching this is wondering, like, oh, when are you gonna keep on playing Java modern Minecraft? I might continue playing it. I don't. Oh God, look at that! Wow, that is pretty cool. Oh my God! Wow, that's just beautiful right there. I installed a mod where I can hide my UI by pressing F1. My God, that is beautiful. Wow. Now I'm kind of tempted to make a base over there or something. Oh yeah, if you guys didn't know about this world, it was a different seed originally, but then I changed it because I wanted a seed where like monoliths were close to spawn, somewhat close to spawn, because most of the seeds that have monoliths, the monoliths are like tens of thousands of blocks away, and I'm not gonna travel that far for a stupid monolith. Like, come on. Oh, I'm not saying monoliths are stupid. I'm just saying, like, I'm not traveling that far for a fucking monolith. Like, no way. No way in hell. Yeah, this could be a base right here, maybe. It very well could be. I could probably try digging out this whole area. Or I could just keep it. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit inspired to do that. But I'm not totally decided yet. I'm kind of torn between keeping the generation here or just using it to my advantage. And I feel like if I use it to my advantage, then that would be a disservice to, like, this crazy looking generation, guys. I really can't decide. I don't know. I should say it'll probably be fine. I don't know. But yeah, since it is gonna be Christmas soon, so I'm gonna be wrapping a lot of presents. I bought a whole lot of presents for family and friends, so that'll be fun. Still have a bunch of presents to wrap. But I honestly I didn't buy that many presents. And let me tell you guys, like, when you buy people stuff for Christmas, it is super expensive. Like, nowadays it is. And this is probably the second year I bought people presents for Christmas. So, like, yeah, it is not the easiest, I would have to say. I'm not finding, like, any more caves around here. That's strange. I don't know, I just like looking at this cool generation, guys. Like, look at this. Oh wait, I think is this a cave? Or is this not? No, this is not a cave, okay. I got my hopes up a little bit. I don't know if caves can be inside of like cliff faces and stuff like that. I'm not totally sure. I did hear that dungeons are like super easy to find in this version, so that'll be cool. If we find any mossy cobblestone, we could use that for some builds and stuff. But yeah, I think for the first days of me playing this version, I'm just gonna basically just gonna chill and get a bunch of resources and do whatever, because it does take a while to get started on like doing anything basically. So yeah, look at that. That's nice. I swear, did I see a... I might have walked past it, but I swear I saw like a cave entrance maybe. Oh, is this? I think this is a cave entrance here. Okay, let's try not... Oh, okay, this doesn't go very far, does it? No, it doesn't seem like it. That sucks. We might have to start strip mining if I want to get anywhere, because there's not a lot of whole caves nearby me. That sucks, but whatever. It's fine. Let me get this coal over here, and then we're gonna go get that iron. But yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome Christmas. You know, I hope Santa gets you what you want. And if you don't believe in Santa, then like you don't belong here, buddy. Like you're telling me Santa doesn't exist? You cannot tell me that Santa does not exist. Okay, you can't convince me. It's just simple facts. It's science. Like, if you really think about it, like Santa, he has a really tough job. Like, he has to deliver presents to so many children. How do you think he does it? And then you think he's not real? Like, come on, man. Why you gotta be so hard on Santa? Like, Santa does not get enough love for what he does. He deserves so much more. You know? God, I don't really... These caves are a little bit creepy, guys. Because it just gets super dark here. Like, oh my god. Look how dark it is. Jesus. It is so dark here. I don't know if, no, let me... I don't think you can turn up your brightness in this. So, like, we just have to work with what we got, really. And we gotta hope that a creeper doesn't sneak up on us. Or anything like that, because that would suck. Also, how do you think, like, I actually don't know, like, how do you think Santa delivers all the presents to the kids? Because I remember in middle school, there's this kid that was like, how do you think Santa delivers presents to all the kids? I'm gonna have to blur that out. But anyways, yeah, he was like, how do you think Santa delivers all those presents to those kids? And I was like, I don't know, how does he? He was like, okay, buddy, you're not scaring me right now, buddy. I'm just saying that just because I am actually scared. I am actually a little bit fucking terrified right now. But anyways, yeah, he was like, how do you think Santa delivers all those presents to those little kids? And I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And he was like, well, he probably has to be like, Santa's probably doing something with the space-time continuum in order to do it, because he has so much little time. So he's probably traveling through space and time. He's manipulating the space-time continuum in order to deliver all the presents to the kids. And I'm like, you know what? That actually makes sense. If you think about it. If you really believe in relativity, like, then yes, it would make sense. And if you guys get coal this year, then I'm sorry, but like, you know, I'll have to say, it just sucks, man. Like, hopefully it's not actual coal. Hopefully it's like candy coal, because sometimes they do have that where it's like it looks like it's coal, but it's like actually like a chocolate or something like that. Hopefully you get that instead, like, because that's kind of funny when people get those. I think I got one of those for Christmas. So, look out. Oh my gosh, look at that. Just iron right here. I'm telling you something, guys. There's just something about this generation in this version. It's so good. Dude, like, I might like this even more than Beta's generation. I'm not gonna lie, because Beta Minecraft generation is cool, but, like, this is something else. Let me tell you, man. I think it's gonna be nighttime in a second, so you gotta be careful. We might have to go a little bit deeper, just for now, because of the time. Do you guys think that Santa made like a deal with the aliens or something? Because, like, okay, if he has this technology where he can go so fast, like, surely he has some kind of, like, I don't know, dude. It's so hard to think about. Or maybe Santa just, like, maybe he just has, like, a bunch of clones of himself. Oh, God. And they're all, like, delivering presents at the same time. Or maybe his elves are just delivering all the presents. Like, we don't really know what's going on. You know, did Santa... Oh, my God, guys. Guys. Did Santa get help from the Nazis? Like, think about it. Oh my god. That is actually insane. I wonder if that's actually a conspiracy theory. Oh my god, dude. That is actually insane, though. Like, think about it. Did he make a deal with the Nazis? Like, how is he able to deliver presents so fast, man? Because, like, his sleigh must use, like, jet fuel or some shit, right? If his sleigh is so fast, it must use, like, jet fuel. Like, think about it, dude. And he comes... Oh, my God. It's all coming together now. Dude, it all makes sense. Like, the North Pole... That's literally just Agartha. The North Pole is Agartha. Or, like, the gateway to Agartha. If you really think about it. Like, the North Pole, like... You know how there's nothing there? You know, in real life? But, like, okay, there could be something there. You don't know that. You don't know if there's something there or not. But think about it. What if the North Pole is an axis point? Holy shit. Guys, I think I just came up with a new conspiracy theory. So, okay, think about this. The North Pole is a real place, right? And in this hypothetical situation, the North Pole is a real place, and Santa in the North Pole is like a gateway to Agartha, and so the Nazis made a deal with Santa. Santa gave the Nazis, or maybe the Nazis gave Santa, like, some kind of technology. Maybe that's how the Nazis... Because, dude, how did the Nazis get their jet technology and shit? Like, okay, to be fair, the Nazis, like, were pretty stupid because... I mean, obviously they were stupid, but, like, they were pretty stupid because, like, they thought that nuclear science was, like, bad juju and stuff because they thought it was like Jewish or whatever bullshit, which is pretty stupid, but like that's just how they thought of things for some weird reason. That's just, I don't know, I'm not a Nazi, don't fucking ask me. But yeah, like guys, think about it, like Santa probably made a deal with the Nazis at some point, and that's probably how they got their crazy like jet technology and stuff like that. That's how they probably won World War II. Like, come on, guys. Like, it's literally, it's so. This is, I don't understand how nobody could have come up with this. Like, the North Pole is literally, come on. Like, it's the only place. Like, apparently the North Pole doesn't exist. Okay, buddy, you can't convince me that the North Pole doesn't exist now. Like, this is actual. This is insane. Like, the feds better, like, they are not gonna make me hush, dude. I'm gonna be on this. I am onto them now. I know what they're hiding from me. I like to... Sometimes when I'm bored, like, extremely bored, I like to come up with, like, really stupid conspiracy theories. Like, I used to do that in school. Especially in high school, because when there's nothing to do, I'd just sit with my friends, and I would come up with the most, like, ridiculous fucking conspiracy theories ever. Like, I don't want to say what they are, because they're kind of political, but it's like, it's just a joke, basically. Like, it's not anything serious, unless I am being serious, and I'm just saying that because I don't want the feds to catch me, but you know, we have to do things sometimes that, you know. But anyways, yeah, I think the North Pole exists, and it might be a gateway to Agartha. Like, seriously, guys, think about it. Like, Santa probably made a deal with the Nazis at some point, but then they lost World War II, so like, that's because they're Nazis, and Nazis are stupid, and they have a backwards ass ideology. Like, okay, you know what I don't like to hear? I don't like to hear that, oh, if the Nazis, if they didn't invade the Soviet Union, they would have won. Okay, well, here's the thing. Like, first of all, people who say that probably didn't do enough research about that kind of situation or that kind of scenario, because if you know anything about Nazis, they absolutely hate communists. They despise them. They see communists and Jews as one and the same. Like, they actually believe that. So, unless you can completely change, like, Nazi ideology, you cannot convince me that, oh, the Nazis just didn't have to invade the Soviet Union. Like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna go back in time and tell the Nazis and be like, don't invade the Soviet Union, don't do Operation Barbarossa, it's a bad idea. Like, no, they're not gonna fucking believe you. They're gonna be like, ha, you stupid, silly ass. Like, they think they got everything figured out. They think that they're gonna, you know, take over all of Russia, and they think that they're gonna, like, free the Russian people from communist tyranny and whatever bullshit, you know, all that sort of rhetoric. But yeah, I just don't think it's realistic, guys. Like, I just don't think that it's realistic for the Nazis to not invade the Soviet Union. Like, that's not a part of their ideology. Like, they were going to... That was another part of a Nazi ideology. Like, they really wanted to invade countries. They really wanted to control a lot of territory, because it was this thing called Lebensraum, and Lebensraum, it means living space. And this is kind of stuff that they don't really teach you about in school. Like, this is some, like, I mean, they don't have to teach you in school, because there's, like, certain things you don't really need to know about. But I just think that, you know, people that come up with these crazy scenarios where the Germans won World War II somehow, it's like, okay, well, it's very unlikely that they could have won World War II, in my opinion. But there could be, like, some... I mean, there could be some... If it was a very, very specific, like, things happening, then I would say it could be possible. You know, obviously, if you know anything about the history community, Alternate History Hub made a very famous video series about that whole situation, like, the only way the Germans could have won World War II. And that's his take on it. And you guys don't, I mean, you obviously don't have to agree with him. Because alternate history is completely speculative, and it's up to interpretation, but that's why I think alternative history is very interesting. Even if it's not completely realistic, like, it can be interesting still. It can still be completely wacky and off the walls and whatever. I mean, there's a lot of people in the alternate history community that think that, like, oh, everything has to be realistic. Everything has to be, like, this and that. Otherwise, it's not. Like, otherwise, it's just a stupid scenario and it sucks. Like, okay, well, sometimes you just need to have a little bit fun. You know, sometimes you need to just have, like, this super wacky, like, nonsensical alternate history timeline that doesn't make any sense just because. Like, I know it kind of makes me sound like a hypocrite, because I was just talking about, like, how people saying that the Nazis could have just not invaded the Soviet Union is not realistic, but, you know, I don't know, like, obviously, that's, like, the most alternate, like, that's the most, like, famous alternate history scenario in the alternate history community is the Germans winning World War II. And I think it's, or either that, or it's like the Germans winning World War I. Like, that, those are the most common things. Or it's basically, you know, what if the Germans won anything? Because, you know, a lot of times they lost. But there was a few times that they did win. Like the Franco-Prussian War, like, they won that. But they were just fighting France. They weren't fighting, like, Britain and Russia and Italy and Serbia and all sorts of other powers at the same time. Like, they were just fighting France. And I'm not saying that that's the reason why they won. I mean, it could be. Like, I mean, obviously that was one of the, you know, obviously that was a very good reason why they won. But it's not, like, the only reason why they won, you know? But yeah, if you know anything about the Franco-Prussian War, it was basically, before Germany was united. I don't want to get too much into it because it's a whole nother, like, topic of it in itself. But before, like, the German Empire was a thing, Germany was not united. Germany was a bunch of, like, duchies and kingdoms and stuff like that. And one of the biggest kingdoms, or duchies, or whatever you want to say, one of the biggest, like, states in Germany, I'll call it a state, it was Prussia. And when I say state, I'm not talking about, like, the United States state, like, not like that. I'm talking about, like, states as in, like, nation states, stuff like that, like countries, basically. Like, their own individual countries. Because a lot of people don't know what the difference is, but one of the biggest ones was Prussia. And a lot of people already know this because, like, a lot of people go through, like, a certain phase when they get into the history community where they start obsessing about the German Empire and all that. But anyways, all that aside, yeah, Prussia was, like, it was the biggest state, and it looked like Prussia was gonna, like, be the one to unite all the German kingdoms and all the German duchies and whatnot, all the German states, whatever. And there's this guy named Bismarck. I mean, there's a lot more people than that, but there's this guy named Bismarck. You know, he really wanted to unite Germany too, and they had a bunch of wars. It's a whole nother, like, historical topic in itself, but basically, they had this one big war that finally united all the German states, and that was the Franco-Prussian War. And at the time, like, most of the German states were united. It was just like the rest of like the smaller German states, and the reason why the other ones weren't united was because like they weren't entirely sure yet that they wanted to join them. But once the Franco-Prussian War kicked off, like Germany, well, it was called the North German Confederation at the time, but it was Prussia. It was the same thing. But Prussia basically, they were trying to spin it as this thing that like, oh, France is invading us. They're attacking us. We made this defensive pact with you guys, with all the smaller states, that if France starts invading us, then we gotta help you, right? So then the smaller German states were like, oh, okay, well, if France is invading us and you're protecting us, like, we can't protect ourselves on our own. So now we gotta unite with you, like, it's just better for us, you know? And this was also at a time where, like, nationalism was starting to become a big thing in Europe as well. Like, before then, you know, even like the French Revolution, that whole thing was about nationalism. That whole thing was about being proud, not being proud of being ruled by a king, but being proud of living, like being proud of your country, basically. Being proud of being a part of a country. Like, that's what it was. It wasn't being proud of being, you know, living under the rule of a king. It was being proud of being a part of a country. And a lot of times being a part of a democracy as well. And that's why we basically inspired the French Revolution. Because when we were having our war, the American Revolution War. I don't know why I'm saying our war, like you guys assume that I'm American, but yes, I am American. But when we were having our little war, we inspired the French to do their own. Because they were like, hey, what if we try, like, stop doing this monarchy thing, because we don't like our monarchy either. And our monarchy kind of sucks. Because, you know, at the time, the monarchy, I don't know too much about it. From what it sounded like, the monarchy owed a lot of money, and they were in a lot of debt. And a lot of the population in France was a bunch of peasants, basically. Like, that was most of the population. So they were not happy about that. Like, you know, nobles and the monarchy and such were like, they just got to do whatever they want. But the peasants, they had a lot of restrictions on them. And they weren't very happy with that when they were the majority, like, people. Hold on, this might be... Xena, come over here. Come here. He's being stubborn. Okay. Yes. Thankfully, he sucks at... Okay. Shit. I ran out of durability on my sword. That sucks. But anyways, back to your history lesson. But yeah, from what it sounded like, the monarchy was in a lot of debt. And they owed a lot of money because of the previous war that they had. And, you know, that's... You know, the thing about history is when you learn about it, you end up... Like, when you learn about it outside of school, because schools don't really do this that often, like, which I don't really like. Like, the thing is when you learn history in school, I find, is that they don't really tie historical events with each other. They're just like, oh yeah, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and they're important, and these events are all important just because, like, and then that's it. Like you don't really learn anything past that. Like they don't tell you why they're actually important. They're just like, oh yeah, they're important because just trust me. They don't tell you about like everything else that happened afterwards or everything else that happened before because of that event. And so when you learn history on your own, you end up learning that. You end up learning that, the American Revolution was important because it basically snowballed into World War I and World War II. If you think about it, like if you know anything about history, like if the American Revolution or anything similar to that didn't happen, there probably wouldn't be like the World War I that we know it of today. It probably wouldn't happen the same way. And because World War I happened, World War II happened. And it's just this huge snowball effect. And it just keeps, it keeps going, it keeps affecting us to this day. And that's why I think history is very important to learn, because there's a lot of things that happened, and I think it's just very fascinating to me personally. Like that's one of my uh, biggest interests in life is learning about history and the things that affect us still to this day. But yeah, I just think that like a lot of times, like I don't know, I mean obviously it's different for a lot of people, but I just feel like my history class, like they didn't really teach us everything. Like some of the history teachers that we had, some of them were just basically reading off of like a curriculum. Like they're just reading off of like the books and stuff, and they didn't really know everything. Some of them did know a lot of stuff already, and I like to talk. I liked to talk with them and stuff after class about history because it really interested me. But I didn't want to be like a huge like class pet or anything and be like, oh yeah, we have this test today. Like, no, I never said anything like that because I wasn't gonna be that guy. I wasn't gonna be this huge fucking class pet nerd that everyone was gonna hate. Like, I knew that was like, oh god, I knew that was like a scummy thing to do, so I didn't want to do anything like that. But as far as my relationship with my teachers go, is I talked with them about just things that interest me, and you know stuff like that. Sometimes I would talk with them about politics, but that was on very rare occasions. I had a few teachers that I really liked, and I'm not gonna say it what school I went to or what their names were or anything like that, obviously, because that would just not be a good idea. But I had a few teachers that I just like I talked with all the time about just anything. Like I talked about politics with them and stuff. Or I would talk about life with them. Like if I was like going through a hard time in my life, well, I only did it once. Like if I was going through a hard time in my life, like I would talk about them with it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just not having a good day right now because this is happening in my life right now. And I mean, I wouldn't get too deep into it, but I would just tell them like the basics and then be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry to hear that that's happening right now. I understand. So, and I really like teachers who are like that. Teachers that listen to you, to what you have to say. I mean, obviously, you don't have to have like a super personal connection with a teacher. I don't think I ever had a super personal connection with a teacher. I just, like I said, I just like talking with them because talking with them is nice, and they're adults too. It's like it's nice to talk to adults when you are trying to grow up. Like it's nice to learn from what they have to say, and sometimes it's nice to learn from their mistakes because adults make mistakes too. And since you are, when you grow up and you become older, like, and if there's something your parents did that you don't agree with, you could grow up and be like, you know what, maybe I might change that about my parenting. And I feel like that's a very valuable thing. that people can learn in life. Um, that's basically what most of like what life is. It's like learning from the past mistakes and learning from your parents. And I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's bullshit. Why can't we just like why can't we just like live in harmony or whatever? Why can't we just like, you know, but you know, we're humans. We always make mistakes and we always learn from other people. And you can't know like everything about everything. Like that's not possible. It's just simply not possible to know everything about everything. So that's just my kind of take on how we learn things. Like we learn from other people, and we do learn from older people. So sometimes it is nice to listen to older people. Sometimes even if you don't always agree with older people, sometimes they do have some very wise things to say. And I'm not saying that you have to listen to everything that they have to say, but I'm saying that some, you know, it's just nice to like get some feedback from them sometimes. Like, you know, like I said earlier, not everything is black and white. Not everything like just because they're an older person doesn't mean that they have a certain political view that you don't agree with. Like it doesn't always work that way cuz I do have a grandfather that is on the who is left leaning. So, I mean, that's nice because, you know, people are always used to like having their grandparents be like on the right because, you know, it's conservative and whatnot. But I have a grandpa who's on actually on the left. Um, so I don't know. I just think that's nice to get like different perspectives from that. See what he has to think. But yeah, I cannot find my stupid. I cannot find the way I came from, guys. This is. Wait, is this where I came from? Or is this going to be another dead end? I don't know. I don't know where I am, guys. These caves are confusing as hell. These are more confusing than alpha caves, dude. Like, seriously. Where the heck am I, dude? Oh, yeah, well, we found some lava. There's no coordinates in this version, so I don't know how I'm going to find this again. I'm just going to have to keep that in my memory somehow. Let's get this iron here, though. There's a lot of iron down here in these caves, which is also really nice. I got about a stack of iron so far. And I do have one brown mushroom. I don't know how much I can do with that. Because I don't know if you can actually grow mushrooms in this version. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, this is really confusing, dude. Uh, these caves just go on forever. Okay, wait. Did I... This might be a good area to look. I might have to start like digging up. Oh, okay, shit. Actually, I want to go get that real quick. Hold on, let's get some steak in our inventory. Or not steak, pork chop. It's a pork chop. I have to keep remembering there's pork chops in this, not steak. Steak wouldn't be added until like much later. I really want to get that iron because it's kind of valuable to me. But at the same time, it's like, do I want to take that risk because it's dark down there and there's gonna be monsters and I don't know. But you know, sometimes you gotta take risks in life. Oh my god. Okay, this is actually a good idea, like a really good idea. Look how much iron I found. See, guys, sometimes it's good to take risks in life. Oh my. here. There's a whole lot of iron. How much do we got now? Oh, we got 2 stacks. Oh my god. Okay, that's really good. Early game, that's huge. 2 stacks of iron early game is huge. Now we just have to try to, like, not die, because that would suck. And then a creeper explodes from behind me. Hold on. I need to take a pee break. Alright. I'm back from my pee break. That was a quick pee break. Speaking of pee, I should probably, like, drink some water. Because I haven't drank much water today. I turned off the lights in my room, so it was a little bit more spooky for me, being in this cave. Since the caves are so dark, and you can't adjust the brightness. I mean, unless you played with, like, mods and stuff. But I'm not playing on a mod right now, so I can't do that. I can't really adjust the brightness. And so we just have to deal with this creepy-ass lighting. Creepy block lighting from Alpha. Oh god, okay. Jesus. Yeah, that's why you never dig down, guys, because it's crazy-ass cave generation. How do I not pick that one up? Okay, there we go. Look at this huge coal vein. Like, what is going on? This coal vein is absolutely massive, dude. Like, sometimes it's really nice to find these, because then you're good on coal for a while. And you don't have to worry about it. Like, even in this version, like, you can still find these crazy veins. Which is really nice. Okay, Minecraft, you're not scaring me. You're not scaring me right now, buddy. You can try, but you ain't scaring me. Speaking of scares, yesterday I watched the FNAF 2 movie with my friends. And I gotta say, it was, I mean, for a horror movie, it was really corny. It was really corny, in my opinion. But the movie was, I don't know, it was entertaining enough, I guess. It was, like, corny, but, like, kind of in an entertaining way. Because, like, okay, I don't want to spoil it too much. Like, if you guys haven't seen it or anything, but I don't know. All I'm gonna say is, like, there's some parts of it that were, like, super corny. That was, like, I swear that was, like, half the movie, though. Like, half the movie was really corny. But, I guess the first one was kind of corny, too. At certain points. And, it, you know, the more you think about it, it's like, yeah, FNAF was probably always for kids. Like, FNAF wasn't... I mean, I'm not saying FNAF is a kid's game, but it was, I don't know, it's just like, thank god I found the surface. But FNAF was like, you know, it just kind of feels like it was, after the first game was released, a lot of the audience, like a lot of the people who were fans of FNAF were younger. Like, that's just a fact, pretty much. And the reason for that, I would have to say, is because, like, oh god. Okay, I didn't realize we were... What the fuck? Dude. Okay. Well, that's, huh. Wow. What the fuck? Anyways, yeah, I just feel like FNAF was always, you know, targeted towards kids ever since, like, after the first game. Or at least Scott probably knew. He probably knew that most of his fan base were, like, a bunch of kids. And I think the reason for that is because when you're a kid, like, you don't know a lot of things. And when you see, like, oh, this spooky robot animal is, like, it's out to get you, and blah, blah, blah. And, like, there's a secret, like, serial killer who, like, killed a bunch of kids, and they're haunting this place, and yada, yada, yada. Like, I feel like kids would be really into that kind of thing, you know? But then when you grow up and you become an adult, you kind of like, I don't know, like the thing is like the base storyline of Five Nights at Freddy's, like for the first game, like that story is perfect, like, and the story for the first game is basically it's the very simple story. It's like five kids go missing at this place, and all of a sudden there's like these creepy ass robot animals that are trying to like get into your office and kill you. And they, you know, people thought back then you were the serial killer, because why else would they want to be killing you, like, unless they're just like, you know, like, we didn't really know much back then, obviously. I hope I can actually find my house here, because it is, I think it is in a bit of a confusing spot, but I think it's near spawn. We might be getting close to it. I don't know, though. Yeah, I think we might be getting close to it. But yeah, I feel like just like the first, like the story of the first game, like that was perfect, right? And the little Easter eggs that they would put around the game, like, oh, five kids went missing. Like, if you, there's like a, um, obviously this is very widely known nowadays, but there's an Easter egg in the first game where there's like a percent chance that the posters on the walls or whatever, they can change to like a newspaper saying like, oh, five kids went missing, and they report of like smells, like bad smells coming from the animatronics, and people can obviously put two and two together and be like, oh yeah, so these kids are dead, obviously, and they're inside these fucking like old ass 30-year-old animatronics, however old they are, and they are probably bloodthirsty and out to get you for whatever reason. Like, it's just it's just simple. Um that sounds weird saying that out loud, but I mean that's really what it is, and I don't know. But you know, back then there's probably all sorts of like crazy theories that people came up with that didn't really make sense. So that still goes on to this day. Like, I don't understand. You know what I don't understand is I don't understand people who are trying to like tie the stuff that happens in the movie to like the mainline story. Like, I don't understand that, because I don't agree with that at all. I think what my friend told me, what he thinks, and I really do agree with him, is that the movie, the stuff that happens in the movie, is like its own universe. So, and you could argue that like that's my way of coping with things being different, so different in the movie from what we've actually seen in the games and whatever, but whatever. Yeah, FNAF is just like, you know, ever since I don't know. I feel like after Help Wanted, like, I think Help Wanted was a good game. I'm not gonna be one of those people that just say like, oh, Help Wanted was bad because they executed the story badly. Like, okay, it's not like you don't play a game just because of the story. Like, that's not the only reason why you play a game. Like, you play a game to have fun. Like Minecraft. Minecraft doesn't have a fucking story, dude. Like, you play this game for fun. And it's the same thing with like, it can be the same thing with Five Nights at Freddy's. But obviously there's a lot of people that think, no, there has to be some kind of thing happening here, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah, whatever bullshit. But I honestly like, you know, I don't like the story in Help Wanted. I think it's silly, and just like many other people, I like to think that that Five Nights at Freddy's, that like the true story of Five Nights at Freddy's ended at Ultimate Custom Night. Although I'll have to argue that there was a couple things in Ultimate Custom Night that didn't make sense to me, that were kind of silly. Like the Vengeful Spirit, that whole thing. I feel like that was kind of unnecessary, because like that wasn't really related to anything at all. And it was just like, there's no reason for that, in my opinion. You can disagree with me if you want, obviously, but I just personally, I feel like Scott Cawthon didn't have to add that to the story, like, because that just confused us, and that was like, okay, that doesn't have anything to do with anything. Like, what is the point? I don't know. It's just weird. I think the Vengeful Spirit is a little bit silly, but like if Ultimate Custom Night didn't have that thing about the Vengeful Spirit, I think the story in that game would be perfect, but it's just not. It's just not. Like, every story has its flaws, obviously. But I mean, even the best stories out there have flaws. Not everything is perfect. So, but yeah, that's just kind of what my take on Five Nights at Freddy's is. But anyways, this video is getting a little bit long, and I think I'm gonna end it here. I'm probably gonna do a lot of stuff off camera in this world because, like I said before, like a lot of the stuff you do in this game is just not very interesting, in my opinion. Personally, like most of this stuff is just basically gonna be me like commentating while playing the game, because you don't do a whole lot in this game other than like build things in this game. I mean, you do a lot of building in this version, because that's all you can really do. So, but anyways, yeah. If you guys liked this, please let me know. I might continue making more alpha videos if you guys are really into this kind of content, because you guys seem to like the last video I made on this version. So if you want to keep seeing me make videos about me playing this version, then I might keep doing it. Who knows? But the next video is probably going to be me playing beta Minecraft. And yeah, you guys can look forward to that. So I will see you guys in the next video.